Okay guys, I promised you that you would be able to run Amiga software in your browser, and to demonstrate, I think you can pretty much see what's going on here. So this is the Amibian.js desktop. It's designed to be sort of a copy, if you like, or inspired by the original Amiga operating system. Actually, it's inspired by the new Amiga operating system, but this, of course, is designed to be more of a well, not perhaps not cloud front end, but at least, let's say you're making your own server at home. Maybe you have an Internet of Things project, and you want to put a pretty face on it. Maybe a Raspberry Pi serving some files, and you would like to have a good looking interface, so you can log in through the browser and keep track of your files and do some light work. Then you can do that in this. Simply install it, and it's just a bunch of HTML5 files, some JavaScript files, some graphics, a ton of JavaScript actually, but that's how it works. Um, as you can see, we also have UAE, and this one has been compiled from its original C code or C++ code to JavaScript. And I'm running a 100 megabyte disk image, which is of course overkill. You can see here it's got 83 megabytes free, so you can probably do more than enough with the 10 megabytes. And this is running isolated, and this is pure JavaScript, nothing else. There's no Flash plugins or C++ code running in the background. There's no video tricks or anything like that. I mean, the JavaScript version of UAE has been known for quite some time. The 2sec library and internet library is using the same thing. So there's nothing new about that. What's new, of course, is having a full desktop that is capable of running these things. And the idea, of course, is to have a server backend, which is Node.js, that gives you access to the file system like you see here. I go in there and double click on startup sequence. The styling isn't complete yet. You can see that sometimes it misses the styling. For example, if I change like this, you can see that the blue is still lagging behind. But that's a piece of cake. It's 20 minutes of work and that's gone. But here you see you have access to the startup sequence, and of course this is virtual. But these files are real. These are real files. And I have created a device system which allows the desktop to basically load files anywhere. At the moment it's booting off a local storage disk, but it could be booting off a Node.js server or your Dropbox for that matter. So you have to keep in mind that this is just HTML5, JavaScript, and it's a perfect demonstration of what you can achieve quite easily with Smart Mobile Studio. This is of course created in Smart Mobile Studio, which takes Object Pascal, like Free Pascal, Delphi type source code, and compiles that to JavaScript. The same thing that emscripten is doing for C++. So you can edit files. I'm also going to hook these up to the actual editing feature, because right now these are just dummies. So I have to capture the events whenever you move here and reflect that here, which again is a piece of cake. So yeah, and the cool part is that it's actually doing work. It's not some fake stuff with a simple on-click. We're talking about roughly 2 megabytes of JavaScript just for these 35%. I'm guessing we will be somewhere around 10 to 20 megabytes of pure JavaScript, packed hardcore JavaScript. So you go into device and data types. Here are some data type files, which of course is slightly different than what you would do on a real Amiga. But it's the same system, file recognition. Then you have class actions, which allows you to define, what happens if you double click on an image, things like that. And I'm going to recreate some of my favorite programs, like I'm hoping to do Blitz Basic, or at least do Blitz Basic. And then of course you have Amos Basic, but that's actually a bit more advanced. Francois Leonet, he has put a lot of infrastructure into that, so like the animation system, so it requires a bit more work. Blitz Basic is simpler, but also designed to be faster and bang the hardware directly. So okay, let's see if we can get some movement. The mouse pointer, that is one thing I'm going to do to this library, is to make sure that the mouse pointer is synchronized. But this is a real Amiga. 100 megabyte disk image booted up in a browser, which is just amazing. I haven't set up Picasso or anything yet, so you can see the colors are pretty dull. I'm also running, this is Chromium Embedded 4, which is used inside this IDE. So it's not the fastest horse in the stable. I'm going to update that to Chromium 4 quite shortly. When it comes to running, the desktop, but the whole point of the desktop is, running it through the browser. But I am going to create an executable that you can just start in Windows or on Mac or Linux. So you can just fire it up. It will run, slightly faster, not much, but a little bit. And then we have to wait until the next browser family comes along, or evolution comes along, which will introduce, actual compilation to machine code. Far more advanced than, the JIT stuff we have now. But yeah, let's start a program. Yeah. So it works. It's pretty cool. Okay. Well, I hope you have enjoyed the show. And as you can see, it is possible to get this going. Some work, with the fiddly bits like you see here, but that's just sort of part of the thing to make this work. So okay, goodbye.